Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today we're going to review the TTArtisan 17mm F1.4 full manual lens, and my particular copy is for an L mount, so I've got it on my Leica CL. So come on, let's go review a lens. Alright, before we get going too far down the road, what I'm going to do is dump a bunch of gear and reconfigure myself for my street photography exploits. The hat, although great for shading my head from the sun, it's completely overcast, and on top of that, it doesn't keep my ears warm. So we're going to leave it in the truck. I have a very warm alternative in my coat pocket here, made by the North Face. So once I get done clearing my throat about 40 times, now my ears are going to be warm. On top of that, probably going to pare this down too and just take the camera. I have the 17mm F1.4 here on the camera. A couple of things of note about this lens. It's a wide enough field of view that the lens hood I bought for the 35 creates like vignetting, like it shows up in the corners of this. So I can't use this lens hood. I'll need like a bigger one. It comes factory with the little screw-on lens cap, and it's in here somewhere, I'm sure, but it screws on. They're real frustrating for me to use. That's why it's not here. Let's take this down the sidewalk some. We're down on the south side today, down here on Main Street. I've parked the truck on street side parking because it's free, and I'm gonna just do me a little bit of a photo walk around here and see what I can come up with. That'd have been a pretty cool photo. Oh well. It never fails. I'll always have a cup of coffee in my hand instead of my camera when the cool photo goes by. It's a rule of Murphy's Law of street photography that if you are never prepared, that's when the photos happen. As much as I hate to do it, I'm going to get one last drink of the Mean Mug dark roast, and I'm going to call it. That's actually pretty good coffee. Woo. Okay, let's go over some of the specs of the lens first. Get that out of the way. The lens is a f1.4 maximum aperture, and it goes all the way to f16 and half aperture stops. Now the stops on the lens are kind of what I'd call mushy. The detents aren't super pronounced. The 35mm I have has much better pronouncement of aperture stops, but you can tell it's a ball bearing rolling into small grooves machined into something internally. You can just tell by the way it feels. And it's well lubricated and damped, but they're a little mushy. So like if you count them, you have to be very careful if you're counting them in low light. You would have to absolutely just pay close attention to that. Focus is different from this lens to like an M-mount lens, because on an M-mount lens, you have a rangefinder operation, and because of that, they can only focus so close. You just don't get but like 0.7 meters, I think, is the closest that a M-mount lens will focus normally. So what you end up with an M-mount lens, you can't get close. Well, since these aren't M-mount, they're L-mount, and they're DX lenses specifically, so they can make the glass a lot smaller too. You end up with a lens that allows you to focus a lot closer. Like this one's minimum focus distance is 0.7 feet. What was that, about 8 inches or something like that? And that's from the image plane, which is about 3 or 4 inches behind the front of the lens. So you can focus to like 4 inches away. It's ridiculous how much closer you can get with this lens. Something else about this lens is it doesn't weigh much. The weight will populate on the screen, and it's only like 2 inches long, maybe 1.5 inches in diameter. It's very small to have such a big aperture, and it's because they made it to fit a crop-centric camera outright. Since they did that from the outset, all of the glass elements they're a lot smaller. Here's a comparison of two photos from the other day when I took this lens and the 35 on a photo walk when George Nagata was down. You'll notice I took the same composition 2 different times, and it's kind of strange to see that how much closer I had to get with the 17 than once I had switched over to the 35 a little later. But you can see in the photo here is where I was standing when I took this image. It's just kind of neat to see that. that's kind of a comparison between the two. Let's go see if we can find some really interesting photos in downtown Chattanooga with this 17mm F1.4 TTArtisan manual focus lens for a crop sensor camera. Come on, let's do this. Something I've noticed about this lens is that it is very easy to get focus with. When you get to 17 millimeters, it turns into a very, very deep field of view type of lens. So, you know, at F1.4, the field of view is kind of shallow, but once you get any kind of distance at all, it suddenly shoots way out there on your field of view. But if you stop down to even like F4, at F4 you get surprising good depth of field. Like 4 feet to what appears to be about 15 feet in focus at F4. So, you know, that's a pretty good street focus. You can do range focus, I think. Rueben Radding said it on Paulie B's walkie-talkie video. Link right here. That's a cool video. Go watch it once you get done with this one. But this lens is kind of easy to shoot with. So far, I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing out of it. I played with it down at the corner, and I've got a few photos here and there of just various things, but trying to find something interesting to photograph here on Main. We'll do some. Maybe I'll head down Market here in a little bit. Okay, break. I don't know what happened, but I somehow forgot two primary aspects of this lens review that I just failed to produce. One is something that I am really fond of, which has kind of surprised me, and that's light stars. I'm going to show you some pictures just so you'll understand that it does wonderful light stars. Now, light stars are a detriment to some and a benefit to others. To me, they're a benefit. Another thing is sharpness. Everybody wants to know how sharp it is. Sharp, sharp, sharp. So we're going to look at a couple of pictures where I got some reasonably sharp photos at F1.4. So let me switch over here. As you can see, here's a light star image. And then, this is shot at like F16, I'm almost certain. And then here's another one, and you can see, maybe this is F16. See how pronounced they are. Yeah, I think the other one is F8. I believe that's F8. You can see that they're smaller. And then these are so much keener at F16. But yeah, you can get some incredible light stars out of this little lens. Now, as far as sharpness goes, this is shot handheld. It's like 1/100th of a second. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, 1/100th, ISO 800, so I could actually shoot at 1/100th of a second. And then you can see the ornament. It's not bad. And then you see the depth of field is super shallow. You can see this is the part that's actually in focus. But it looks good. It has a real Christmassy look. And then here's some zoomed in. Of course, I don't know why I put the garland in the middle, but you can see focus is up here. You can see the depth of field. This is what's in focus. As far as portrait work goes, it would make a pretty cool portrait lens for low light outdoors at night. I don't have any of those photos, but this is what I did have, so I wanted to share them with you. Is it laser sharp at F1.4? No. But is it, are you really expecting that for $100 brand new? That's a bit of a stretch. So, it's actually really good for what you're paying for it. So just wanted to jump back in and bring that to the forefront. So back to the regularly scheduled programming at large. I don't know what it is about these lenses that I like so much that's particularly like zero in onable or whatever that term is. What I have come to learn is that these little lenses from TTArtisan coupled with a little crop sensor camera like this Leica seal. It doesn't have to be Leica. It could be, you could have it on a Fuji X-T3 and it'd be a wonderful little lens. I'm of a camp of people. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to cross the road here illegally. But I'm of the camp of people that enjoys the tactile interaction with the camera equipment. Like, that's part of the lure for me to use the machine, is to be able to have that live interaction. And the tactile feedback from these lenses is such that it's a pleasure to use them. I even got a little video footage with the CL playing with it just to see how good it would work. Really great little lenses for the money. They're shockingly inexpensive. It's just, for what you're getting, modern technology has caught up as such that you get a lot of bang for your buck when you buy these lenses. I'm not trying to sell you on a TTArtisan lens per se. Just know though, for what you're paying for them, you're getting an extraordinary amount of, well, you're getting the biggest bang for your buck, I guess is the way to say it. It's just, they just work. They just work really well. Alright, I had to get another cup of coffee for the drive home because, of course, the battery went dead in the GoPro, so I'm finishing up the video on the CL with the 17 F1.4. I'm actually shooting video with it, so we'll see how this comes out. Pretty sure it's going to be okay, but I haven't videoed much with this camera, so I don't know. Kind of got it shimmed with some quarters to level it a little bit. Might still be out some. We'll figure out later. Anyway, if you haven't done it yet, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. And leave me a comment. What do you think about the photos and the video footage, obviously, that come out of this lens? And what do do you think that these budget lenses are of any use or any good? I mean, I see all sorts of use in this lens, so I'm just curious to hear y'all's thoughts on it. So until next time, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I'm going to tell you to get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.